podcast about what it really takes to make things happen.
Well, we're finally here.
It's taken how long? My fault.
No one's fault. It just let it take this time.
Yeah.
As you can feel from
I know.
my communication, I'm never upset about anything, so it's all good.
No, I love it.
But it's such a pleasure to have you. Honestly, that was the most epic photo shoot that we've just done. I can't wait to show everyone.
Listen, if you make it so easy, I hate it. With what I do, I'm behind the camera, literally.
Yeah.
And you know, you just made me feel so comfortable, and it was so quick, and I loved it. And I've never said that. I've never said that of a shoot.
I'm very happy to hear that, babe. You look gorgeous. And I think, we're celebrating 15 years next year.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of celebrities come through the door. And sometimes you only have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, make it happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, today you are our star.
Oh, bless you.
And honestly, we're so proud of you. I mean, we've known you for so long.
Yes.
We all grew up here in Dubai together and made our way. And here you are, like raising big money, baby, making it happen. Yeah. I want to know, as we start off this whole discussion on what it takes to make things happen.
Right.
When did you know that you had a business?
Gosh, that's such a good question. And it sounds cliche, but what is a business? It's something you can live off and earn off. And I think confidence comes with that question. When I knew I could leave a safety blanket of a corporate job or any job that's consistent and do what I really wanted to do on my own, I knew it'd be okay. And it took 10 years.
What?
Yeah, it took 10 years.
Wow.
It took 10 years to get there. I was slowly crafting and grafting behind the scenes because I knew that is where I wanted to go.
Amazing.
But when I finally knew was, okay, I can now make a living on my own. I'm Indian. What do parents drum into you as Indian kids? Save, security, save, get married. Those are the three things.
You've done almost everything now.
Well, so that was always drummed into me.
Yeah.
And I try to really push back away from that because you can't live in fear either. And I think a lot of it was.
But can you describe that moment? Like, do you remember that
Do
that
I
moment
remember?
when you were like, this is it?
I was actually in a bar. I was in a bar. Yeah, so Dubai. Drinking. And I was with a friend and a colleague. And she said, it's time. She said, with everything you're doing, you can do this. You can do it on your own, and I will be there to support you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, and I think just the words of encouragement literally was the moment I said, okay, this is it. I have to now. I've got so many people behind me telling me it's just down to me, and it's me stopping myself.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I think with anything like this, it's timing, but it happens in a split decision. Because I'd worked up to it for 10 years, but where it begins and ends, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that moment. Yeah, and I was at Joey's place.
No way.
Yeah, I was at Joey's bar.
Oh, that's amazing.
In, was it Barsha? What's it called?
Yes. What was it called? That was amazing.
Now I have the mane
place.
in my hand, but that was so artsy and creative, and you could just go in there and be yourself.
Yes.
You could totally be yourself, and I love that place. And yeah, so it was there.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to find out
what that place is called, right?
No, there were some epic parties there.
Oh,
that
huge,
was amazing.
Huge.
So I just want to backtrack because you said it was fear. It was fear that was holding you back. You probably could have done it earlier.
Yes, I could have done it earlier.
And fear, what do you do now when fear creeps up? Now you broke through that first thing.
I think confidence takes over fear. So now I give myself a minute. Yeah. Before I was running. I think now I literally give myself a minute. I meditate a lot. So I contemplate a decision because now you're responsible for a business and you're responsible for your staff and your long-term projections and visions. So you need to take a minute.
Yeah.
So if any time I get anxious, I do give myself that moment of, let me take stock of this situation and not run into it head first.
Yeah.
And when I do, the emails are garbled. They don't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, see what happens?
Yeah.
Just, take your time.
That's really important. I think when you bear that responsibility as well, you have a responsibility to also be fearless.
Yes.
Which is extremely loaded.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to take that on.
Yeah.
To be fearless and still be capable of being responsible, it's a delicate.
You're fearful of competition. You're fearful of how long will this last, or when is the next big project coming. But I think, and you're an entrepreneur, you have to be fearless.
Yeah.
You can take calculated risks, but the risks pay off. They do.
Yeah. And that's your superpower as an entrepreneur.
It is.
That you're able to take the risk
You
that
are.
in any other scenario would probably be blocked.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it. And it takes time to warm up.
Yes. And you need a great support system. You really do.
Yeah.
Whether it's your partner or your friends or, peers and colleagues. I take a lot of advice on board. I do. I'm constantly asking people, calling people in the industry that I respect. I have a mentor, and he's been my mentor for like 25 years.
Oh, that's amazing. We have to talk about him.
You met him, actually.
Oh, who is it?
When we did the Karl Lagerfeld shoot. He was there, Venus Brown.
Oh, no.
Yes. He comes from music. He's the
amazing.
president of Sony BMG. I met him when he was launching the Black Eyed Peas in London.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I've been with that camp for 25 years, and
Amazing.
it's because of Venus. But I take his advice. He's done it. He's a creative, but has become this prolific businessman.
Amazing.
So why wouldn't I? There's so many people I look up to, and I want to learn.
That's amazing.
I want to learn. So
your passions, obviously, there are quite a lot of passions that are running behind such an execution, because there's no way you can operate this type of a business without a passion.
Right.
Segment your passions for me.
Honestly, it's people. Every personality, because that's what I'm dealing with, right?
Yeah.
We deal with personalities and talent and celebrities. It's the people, the engagement I have with them, the learning, whether it's an Alicia Keys, who's very much like you. She's a mother, she's present, but she's prolific at her music, and now she's an entrepreneur. Same as Mariah Carey. She's a genuine diva in the real sense of the word, and I was talking to Ayad about it. She's someone that I'm learning from and looking up to. Everything she's done to be relevant in this industry. So that keeps me going. Is every show I do is so different. Yeah. It's different, it's unique. We've gone into film and TV production, and that I grew up, like, who doesn't like Netflix and TV and picking it apart and then loving something, and so now I'm involved in that. It's amazing. I feel so lucky and privileged that I'm able to step into something quite new and just go into it head first. So
being in the business of production, I have my views on what it takes to be a good producer.
Yes.
I'd love to know your views.
Oh my goodness. I think you have to get things done. Right? Because every minute costs money. Mm-hmm. So I think it's delegating, using the relationships that you have, and being on point with the execution. That's what producing is. It's, keeping to those budgets, keeping to the timelines, and not compromising that shot. Yeah. It sounds easy, but to finesse all of those things, it's not a task.
Easy. It's super tricky.
Yeah.
And I think mindset as well plays a huge role.
Huge. You've got to keep everyone energized for that, that shot or that scene. You're dealing with 100 people on a set. It's very high energy. That drives me. I think through the chaos is my calmness.
And to be honest with you, that is what nobody will ever be able to take from you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you meditate a lot, I think, explains how you're able to finesse. Because being so deeply in tune and having clarity of thought when things are happening fast, I think it must have saved you many times.
I think it has, and I stopped for a minute because things were just so busy.
Yeah.
And I stopped and I saw myself really going out of sync. I was not making the right decisions. It snowballs. So that's, it's just what I need. Someone else exercises and is on that treadmill and Peloton. I can't do any of that. I got into Pilates for about 10 minutes. I love it, but it's not consistent for me. Yeah.
So you were telling us about your different kind of verticals under the group now, because it's become a significant business. I mean, you're a power player in the region. Let's not tippy toe. You've just raised significant funding. Yes. What's the vision? How do you take those verticals and push them out?
I think it's creating for ourselves. We've done it for so long for other people, and I love it, and we'll always do that. I have great government relationships, but raising the money and the funds will allow us to now really spread our wings. Amazing. Do the kind of shows I want to do, bring the artists I want to bring. Amazing. Produce content, whether it's for streaming platforms or documentaries that we want more of a hand in. And I'll always give back to this region because look what it's given me. So it's easier if you're controlling it from the outset. Yeah. So whatever we touch in this region, it has to be relevant to this place. Whether it's Dubai or Abu Dhabi or Saudi or Doha, the content has to mean. So if it's a Bollywood movie we're producing, the scenes are authentic to here. The storyline is adapted to here. It's great to get the good, great movies like June, but it's shot here, but nothing to do with the region. So that's what comes with the funding. Or doing amazing. Comedy. I love comedy. We've never really produced that. So doing those kind of, bringing that kind of talent here to do. It's hard, but we'll get there.
Hard is okay.
Yeah,
hard is okay. Yeah. You can manage hard. Yeah. Hard is easy.
Yeah, hard is easy. Let's coin that on a t-shirt.
I think once you've done hard enough times, you just realize that everything is pretty much hard.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. Government relationships, I'm sure, are super important, but what about creative relationships?
I mean, look, it's part of why we do what we do, and I'm able to sustain the business are the creative relationships, are the personal relationships, all the talent we work with are personal relationships that I've nurtured and fostered.
Amazing.
Yeah, across the board. Like, look at you guys. You shot one of my first campaigns.
That was so epic.
Yeah, and we're still here.
Yeah, no,
so you have to. I think I'm not a creative person. I'll never say I am. I'm more on the business side. Yeah. But I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
I think you can spot talent as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not an easy thing, by the way.
No.
I think when you are able to spot talent, you really take it for granted.
We were in Saudi this weekend. We did a show with Mariah Carey, and
amazing.
She actually spent time with young Saudi female musicians.
Wow.
Yes, one was, Noha was 19, Maha was 27.
Amazing.
Singing in English, singer-songwriters.
No way.
Yes, Saudi born and raised. And she was mentoring them, and I'm just listening, going, "Oh my God, look at the talent here!"
Did you shoot that? I mean,
we did.
Amazing.
Yeah, we did. That's shoot.
Amazing.
It's on social.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have to have a look.
Yeah,
that's gorgeous. And she was just ready, or did you set it up? Or
no, she wanted to do it.
No way.
She said, "I want to know about," because you hear things, right, of the region, and they're open now. But she was blown away of the natural raw talent, and why shouldn't it exist there?
Yeah.
If it can exist here or in Paris or New York, of course it's going to exist there. And it's just talking about it, encouraging these women, and they write what they dream. So it's that sense of hope, right? Because your dreams are inhibited, they're unfiltered, and she was like, that's where I write from.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So that was a really nice
what a
moment to actually help create. Yeah. To actually help create that moment was really special.
Did that.
I think we did it. No, we did it, but it was special. It was really, really special. Yeah.
And it says a lot for how you had introduced Mariah into that moment, that she was so ready.
Yes.
You know, that didn't just happen on the spot.
No.
That's what you're doing so well.
Because she understands, right?
Yeah.
I won't say how long she's been in the industry because she's ageless.
She's an icon.
She's an icon, but it's not easy.
No.
You know, you start at 17, 15, you're writing songs, you know what publishing rights are, and to sustain the changes in the music industry, it's not easy.
No, not at all. No. I mean, the music industry that's another conversation, right? Yeah. But your focus now is on big productions like concerts, shows?
Yeah, I think so. It's concerts and TV. For me, it's the streaming content.
Okay.
I mean, look, Dubai's open now. We've got Wed Housewives, and now we've got Dubai Bling. I mean, they're amazing.
Maybe we could do something else.
So, you know, there's. I love documentaries. I always have, because you get to the root of whatever that subject is, and that's what we're focusing on now.
Amazing. So, what a vision.
Thank you.
Story.
Yeah, storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah, storytelling.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh,
something that stays in the ether for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really does tell the story of this city and this region and what's really happening here.
And I'm proud now because, you know, Bollywood is really going into its own right now. It's becoming international.
Yeah.
No one really knows what it takes to churn out those movies. They're producing 1,000+ movies a year.
It's just insane.
Yeah. Who are the talent? What's their story? Where did they come from? How are they so successful?
Yeah.
Those are, you know, that's interesting to me because obviously in India, you know, but the rest of the world, they are on par now with your Tom Cruises and your Brad Pitts. And,
I mean, the highest paid actor is from Bollywood.
Yes, Akshay Kumar, yes.
Yeah. I mean, and he seems to be staying on top.
No, he's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think when people understood that, and then there was a little bit more of an insight, of course, people go where the money is, so they love to suck into that narrative. But it really says something for the craft. And, you know, when I moved here from Australia, I became so much more attuned with the Bollywood industry than coming from Australia, which really, no idea.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it. And I remember doing some trips over to Delhi for Fashion Week.
Exactly, yes.
And hanging with the guys from MAC. And there's a great guy called Mickey.
Mickey Contractor.
Yes. And getting to know him and getting to understand a lot about the aesthetic and the look.
And the pace they work at.
Oh, yeah. And they're so professional. They just make things happen in an insane, like in a way that I don't think you would ever comprehend if you
Nothing is a no. It's such a can-do attitude. They will get, and they're working under tight conditions, not easy.
No, everything
conditions.
is difficult.
Everything's difficult.
Nothing is difficult. Quite up to scratch, you know, and they're just
it works.
doing it.
Yeah.
I remember going to this fashion show, and like 15 minutes before the show, they're still like knocking together the set, and I was just
the scaffolding is all wooden, and
and they were just like, don't worry, it'll be done.
It'll be done.
And it was.
Yeah.
It was done. Lo and behold, we sat in the front and then out the models came and everything was perfect. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it was such...
Yeah.
It really blew my mind. It blew my mind.
And I think the West can learn from that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more no than there is yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a good energy.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a good energy.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I can't wait to see some of those stories. And then uncovering the UAE, the GCC.
I mean, look at it. It's on fire right now. You know, Dubai is so busy. There's so many people coming through the doors. But it's exciting because there's sports happening here.
Yeah.
There's entertainment, the fashion scene. Doha, so prolific for fashion. I think it's going on right now on Kata Creates.
It's insane.
Yeah,
There's the Fashion Trust and all these things.
I mean, I just discovered Alula in Saudi. You'd love it. It's stunning.
I'm dying to
Every
go.
moment is a photo shoot and a photo scene, and it's incredible. So.
And how was that Mariah concert there in Alula?
It was incredible. I mean, the first thing she said when she came out was, "Okay, interesting name. I love the name because it's called the Mariah Hall, which means mirror in Arabic." And
my gosh!
Yeah, so it's called the Mariah Hall.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And how did she feel?
She loved it. Yeah,
my gosh.
She loved it.
And
she's a pro.
I mean, who would have thought when we all came to Dubai,
yes,
that Mariah Carey would be singing her lungs out in the middle of Saudi Arabia? I mean, what a shift.
She's a trailblazer, and she's
amazing.
doing it for the women. And that's the message I love. And it was a private show because she wanted to be about the women and what they have overcome and are doing and are excelling at.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, Alicia Keys has been to the region.
Yeah. I mean, her and her husband are doing a lot.
They're doing a lot.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot. And I think that's part of being fearless and not giving in to the stereotypical narrative.
Yeah.
You know, if a place is open to change, you have to embrace that and watch and, you know, appreciate it.
So if we're talking a little bit, just because Alicia and her husband kind of work together.
Yes.
How is it you working together with your lovely husband?
You know what? I never would have imagined me saying this because I saw my parents and, you know, it wasn't always easy, but touch wood, I absolutely love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I genuinely do. He is an amazing support system to me. He's involved, and I've just seen his passion for the industry because, I mean, a lot of the raise and the fundraise is because of him. He structured it. He put it together.
Amazing.
So it's both of our combined visions. Now, you know, I may have started it, but we'll keep it together.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And he has an incredible network. He's very well traveled. So it works. And we were talking off camera that you have to set boundaries and respect. And I'm sure you feel and understand that, right?
Absolutely.
Because you have different energies.
Yeah.
Each one brings something very different. You have to be respectful of that.
Yeah. And I think when you're on your own and you're taking those risks, that's one thing.
Of course.
But when there's two of you and perhaps one has pushed a little bit more and going through those motions of sometimes things go really well, sometimes they don't. That's part of it.
You have to allow each other to vent. You do. Because you take it, right? You take the good with the bad, the ups and the downs. Yeah. And you have to be ready for that because it does spill over into your personal life. You know, you own your own business. There's no clocking off.
No, there's not.
No, there's
no off button.
No, there's no off button.
And even the weekends can tend to.
You can consciously say, let's not talk about business for a minute. No, you know what?
Maybe 1 minute.
No, actually, we're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And I'm better at it than Ash. I will say that. He is a workaholic.
Amazing.
I've learned to have a downtime. So I'll say to him, I'm like, I've disengaged. Literally.
Call me on Monday.
Yeah, call me on Monday. Call me after Game of Thrones is finished or House of Dragons now, actually.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Yeah, you need that. Honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, love is great, but respect is better.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
100%.
That is my mantra for everything.
No, but that's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place to come from, honestly, because that will keep you going through almost anything. It will allow you to build something so much more momentous.
Yeah. And you have each other's back.
Yeah.
You know you're not alone. You're not alone.
So I'm gonna change.
Yes.
So look, you're working with your husband. That's amazing. Yes. But being out there in the world and being the boss,
right?
How have you felt? I don't know how to put this without putting my foot in the wrong domain,
Right.
but I think it has to be mentioned. It's a super male-orientated
Yes.
world that you live in
Yes.
and work in and play in.
Yes.
How do you cope with that?
You know, it's something I haven't had to speak about, honestly. And I've been doing this for 23 years. 23, yeah. 20. I've never had to speak of it because I've never really experienced it. I've had male bosses for pretty much all of my corporate life. My mentor, like I said, is male. I have women that I aspire to. But recently there's been a shift.
Really?
Yeah. And so I don't naturally talk about it, but it's something I'm feeling. Very, very recently, I think the Me Too movement really changed a lot of things or brought it up to the surface.
Wow.
I would get a lot of my female peers always tell me how difficult it was in America. Always.
Really?
To an extent in England, but the English are a lot more politically correct.
Yeah.
But especially in America, that being a female, you don't even have to be an entrepreneur. A female in business is so difficult. And
Wow.
it's very, they don't have equal pay. They actually don't have equal pay. So women are paid less than men in the same role. That's not just in music, that's across the board. I've never experienced that. Maybe I just didn't know it, but I've never experienced that.
I'm pretty sure it's been there.
Yeah. But recently, I think women have found their voice very quickly in a very loud manner. And we're taking a stand. And I'll probably get berated for saying this, but I think the men are feeling a little threatened by it. Because, it does. They have to be aware of it.
It means you've come through a certain level to start to feel that resistance.
Of course, right? Because they've never had to.
Yeah.
They've never had this extra voice in the room. So why would they care or be aware of it? And now they've had to. I've noticed a bit of a male surge, the dominance that they're asserting. Yeah, I've come across it in the last 2 years where I'm like, oh my God, I'm the only female in the room and I feel it. Or they are really pushing back, or they are being way more assertive than they had been a few years back.
And how do you
and my
play
husband
that?
noticed it.
Like, how do you juggle that? Because you still need to do your thing.
You still need to do your thing. I think, part of it is being aware of it and then not, I'm still navigating.
Yeah.
It's new to me, so I'm still navigating. I even thought, do I push my husband to take this instead of me? But that's giving away your power.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I think it's a juggle between not being aggressive as a woman, because that just does not work for us.
No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't.
You become the bitchy boss, and then
Yes. So you can't fight fire with fire.
No.
Just put some water over it and put the fire out.
Yeah.
You have to use your, I think, the feminine side of your energy, which as an alpha is difficult, but that just means being maybe a little bit more patient, a little bit more aware. It definitely brings out the softer side in me, which is a change, I have to say.
I would love to have dinner with you and Reese Witherspoon.
Oh my goodness, I would love that too.
I have such a girl crush on her. She's such an epic
absolutely.
person.
Oh my God, let's put that out there.
I'm putting it out there right now.
I would love to ask her.
Right?
Or I've seen Anjula, who's a friend of mine, a very good friend, but she's Julia Acharya's, Priyanka Chopra's manager.
Oh, amazing.
That woman actually has navigated this, and she's in the tech world. Imagine the men.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think it's standing up to yourself.
Yeah.
Being confident in your and watching.
Yeah.
That's very important. Let them, assert the stag horns.
But you see, that's where your meditation comes
Yes.
back into play again,
Yes.
because it allows you to keep that power.
Grounded.
Yeah,
It allows it, because
so
something like
easy
that
to
could
get
really
heated and
it can hurt.
yeah, of course,
It can hurt.
Of course.
So that's been different for me.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
But I think it's a huge merit of respect to how far you've come, because you wouldn't even be realizing or in a position to feel that kind of energy if you were not.
And you kind of feel, okay,
Breaking
if there's
through.
a little bit of threat there, we're doing something right. And that
100%.
honestly keeps me going.
Woo! That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
How much learning have you had to do? And did it feel comfortable or uncomfortable?
Okay. How much learning? I haven't stopped. I don't think you can. No. We just got into, in the middle of COVID, you're not doing live shows. You're literally not doing live shows. How are you going to sustain yourself, the business? We pivoted into film production.
Amazing.
We saw a gap, a market. We had this amazing script come to us from Red Gorilla Productions. It's an indie house out of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ryan Lamar and Eric Gaines are the owners, producers, directors of it. And the initial script that came to us from a producer called Elijah Long, we helped adapt it to more of a relevant story to this region.
Awesome.
And produced it in the height of COVID, 2020 summer, boiling hot in Abu Dhabi, you can imagine.
My gosh.
At the beginning of this year, it streamed, it was #1 on BET, and is now on Prime, Amazon Prime.
That's epic.
So imagine the learning.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
The throwing in, the learning, but it's opened up a whole new avenue now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
And how much of your kind of previous experience did you find rolled over into that new experience?
So my background is event management, right? I actually started as a wedding planner.
Well, that's a good place to start.
For my sins, until I realized every mother-in-law is the same, and I couldn't take it. I can take a diva, but I can't take a mother-in-law. Isn't that weird? So a lot of that spilled over into producing.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing? You're handling budgets and suppliers and logistics and time management. Well, that's the essence of putting an event together.
Solving problems, baby. Solving problems.
So it does. It spills over.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And do you feel the more you challenge yourself with these bigger bites, the kind of braver you're becoming?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
100%.
Amazing.
Yeah. Braver, more confident, more willing to go out of my comfort zone. I'm a Libra, we like balance. So when you tip it, you got to be ready for that tip. Yeah.
And do you think that the entrepreneurial life is more or less adjusting to being out of the comfort zone kind of permanently?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I love to ask this question.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's easy to look at that decision and think, oh, wow, look at Sonal. It was so easy for her. She's working with her husband. Hello. It took 10 years.
It took 10
plus,
years.
Plus.
Yeah. We got married. Well, we've been together for 6. Just about 6. Married for 2. I'd crafted this long before that. Yeah, it takes a minute. With anything that you're honing in.
Of course.
And growing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship for you means what?
Freedom. I think it's freedom.
Yeah.
Because it's only you that can dictate what the outcome is. You're not really restricted by the confines of, a 9 to 5. And I loved it. At one point, I loved knowing what I was doing, where I was.
Yeah.
But the freedom of, if I want to go to the States tomorrow or X, Y, and Z, I can do it. We fell in love with our love for travel and food. And so now that's what sustains us. And being an entrepreneur helps us live that life.
You know, it's funny because we always have this conversation that our potential is limitless as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But I think that's quite a scary thought.
Because you're never satisfied. You want to keep going and growing.
Yeah.
And you're always very self-critical.
Yeah.
You know, you need to sometimes say, okay, well done.
Yeah.
Tap the shoulder. But you don't often do that, do you?
No.
So you don't know. You're so in the thick of it.
No.
But yeah, it's limitless.
Very
and
early
thankless.
On.
Sometimes.
Yeah, thankless, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's very exhilarating, but I think it's kind of a lot to comprehend and a lot of responsibility for your own life to take on that is not often discussed.
Yeah.
You know, there's this whole founder kind of celebration of like, get out there and do it and you're going to regret it. And yeah, look, I totally agree.
You have to be ready. You have to be ready. Yeah, you have to be ready for that 10-year journey.
Yeah.
And if you can do it in 5, brilliant.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Yes, totally.
But it's constant. It doesn't switch off.
Yeah.
I had a really good friend in who used to manage all of my PR, and she was with a company, and I think a year, maybe 2 years ago now, she started on her own. And she was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm raising a son and it's too much. And now she's picked up the biggest accounts. She's so happy. She's doing the projects she wants to do.
Amazing.
You have to have the tenacity to keep going.
Yeah.
That's probably what people don't talk about enough. That the failures are, it's part of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And you need that.
So how do you cope with failure?
How do you cope with failure? You take the silver lining and run with it. What is the lesson, right? What could I have done literally better? Because you will never make that same mistake again. No. And if you do, that's on you. Yeah. So it's you can call it a failure. I think it's a learning. Yeah, I've made those.
Yeah.
I haven't structured the deal in the right way, you know, or I haven't charged enough for it, or whatever it is. That's on me.
Yeah.
You know, that's on me, and I'll learn.
Yeah. And you've got the energy to keep going.
Yeah.
And the resilience.
Yes.
And the determination.
Yes.
So what does your company look like in 10 years?
Oh my goodness. Hopefully sold.
Exit strategy. Hello.
Yeah.
So
look, I'm not attached. I'm just not that person. I love what I do. I love this company. I love the people that are working with us. But evolving is part of it, right?
Yeah.
Evolving is part of it.
It is.
So,
it is.
Yeah.
It's not easy though.
No, it's not easy.
That evolution. I mean, I can feel like in business you kind of get into this good zone and you're just feeling so like flowing. Everything is flowing.
But then that comfort zone scares you because you're like
100% because you know something's coming.
Yes. Absolutely.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, you know, when Saudi opened and everyone was going to do entertainment there, it was so easy to jump on that bandwagon. But, you know, you can take your time too. It's okay.
Interesting. So you feel like you took your time?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, that's amazing.
100%. Yeah, took our time, just watched.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're responsible.
Yeah.
You're really responsible for whatever project is, you know, you're doing.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I mean, your business is the same as ours. It's like you're only as good as the last, we always tell you, it's the last picture that you took, right? Or the last piece of content
100%.
you put out. That's what you are.
That's what it is.
Right?
Yeah.
And when there's so much.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't grow up with any of this.
No.
The social media. I remember I went.
It's hectic.
Again, now it's 12 years ago. I thought I was, you know, leaving Dubai. I'd done a decade here. And I wanted to really focus on music. And Venus was like, come and work with me. And I took this interview. And they were like, what's your Instagram account? I was like, oh, I'm not on Instagram. They were like, but that's your brand. You have to be on Instagram. And it was a real wake-up moment of how things I'm not a celebrity. I'm not promoting. Why do I need to be on it to do my job?
The personal brand.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's what it is now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
so
really
you're right.
is.
That last image it's...
Everything has to be... I mean,
but I'll never be on TikTok. I can't handle that.
Oh, yes, you will.
No.
Oh, you mark my words.
No.
I'll send you some
No,
you'll be there.
No, you won't.
It's one of those like little dirty secrets. No, but it's really interesting how our shifting, like the self-promotion, and it was always like have a PR company and do a little bit of PR, and then you could just kind of back away again and get on with your work.
It's constant.
Everybody wants to know what's happening, and then how you actually manifest that kind of daily posting of constructing a kind of a PR message around yourself, but in a beautiful, authentic way. I mean,
that's what it's
easy sentence to say.
Yes.
Not very easy to do.
Because you don't want to feel like you're smothered by it.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not naturally inclined to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So again, it's like that getting out of that comfort zone. To all of our clients, I tell them, babe, this is work.
Yeah.
You're doing your job now. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I never thought of it like that.
Well, you pushed me out of my comfort zone today, I'll tell you. Oh. You're like, wear the fluffy jacket. So, okay.
Oh, you looked fabulous, babe. Don't worry about it. Look, I want to just, before we wrap up, I just want to get a couple of amazing insights from you for other entrepreneurs or people who are thinking to start, or, give us your few little drops of your golden wisdom, because we would love to have them.
I think know it is what you're selling and do not divert from it. It's so easy to, it's not working, let me do this, let me try this, or pivot to this. No, you've got to stay true to your passion, your authenticity, and your skill.
Yeah.
Your skill, in the end, that's what you're selling as an entrepreneur, right? It's your skill set, whether it's a product or it's a service. And give yourself a minute and get amazing people behind you.
Yeah.
Don't do it alone. Even if it's just taking advice.
Yeah.
Even if it's just taking advice, talk to people. The more you talk to people, the more learnings you'll get. So
there's a bit of a fear factor around, though, telling people your ideas and all of.
You don't have to share. Okay, so you don't have to share your ideas, but just get their insights and their journey. Yeah. Unless you're really doing something no one else has done. But even then, this place especially is full of entrepreneurs. Yeah. It's a breeding ground for it, which is great. Yeah. It's still open. It's not saturated. So take advantage of it. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. There's great people here that have done great things. Yeah. Yeah. And the world's more accessible now.
Well, we cannot wait to see what you're going to do next, babe.
Thank you.
We are so appreciative for you spending your time with us.
Thank you for having me.